So apparently there are a couple of softwares out there that help you create G-code for 4-axis CNC machines that especially working on wood material and creating these type of stuff. And these these products don't need too much precision, don't need things that used in metal CNC machining and stuff like that. And they need a couple of machining strategies like surface projection, mostly for the ones that are off axis, and surface projection and pattern projection, or normal raster machining, or rotary operations, which do exist inside these programs. But the main question is which one is going to be in your software, which one is going to help you to continue work with your company and not getting fired. So I had experience in 3 softwares: Visual CAD CAM, the or Rhino Cam, which is a software that uh, which is a plugin for Macneil's Rhinoceros, and powermill, and the mastercam. I had worked with these 3 softwares for especially this type of stuff, and you need to consider that I maybe, for example, a software is too much powerful in CNC machining, for example, 5-axis metal CNC machining, but it is useless for wood CNC machining, especially 4-axis wood CNC machining, and will ruin your career. And so I made this chart kind of thing. I made this. These are 3 softwares that I heavily worked on. I mean, like working for years. So from these 3 softwares, Visual CAD CAM is the most easiest one to use, since it has less parameters to be set, less stuff to be tweaked for the G code. The powermill is the second one, and the third one is mastercam. And you need to consider that the mastercam does have the most parameters to tweak about a toolpath that you are going to create. But for wood CNC machining, most of them are useless, so they're very time consuming, and if you let them to be at their defaults, the program is going to act weirdly. So you need to tweak the settings. But the thing is that if you don't tweak them, they will ruin the G code that you're sending for machining, and they will ruin the part, and that's it. So the performance, the powermill is the most best one in terms of performance, because it loads easily. The program is not that much of a heavy thing, and it opens mesh, and these models are mostly mesh, and they might not be 100% solid mesh, etc., etc. They're mesh, and they're messy. So the best performance for CNC machining, for wood CNC machining, which is going to be mesh, which is going to be a heavy part, is going for powermill. and the visual CAD cam is second. The reason that mastercam is the most weakest one in terms of performance is not that it cannot handle the models that visual CAD cam can. Also, the visual CAD cam is a lot powerful, but the actual reason is that the software itself, I believe that not the software itself, but the software itself is too much heavy, and maybe the licensing things going on in the background. Sometimes you need to wait for a lot of time. Also, if you have creating like toolpaths, the file size is going to skyrocketing. So this is too much heavy for this G code. For example, for creating this G code, you have at most 20 minutes time when you're working. So with 20 minutes time, mastercam, you need to wait for the program to load, even the oldest versions of this program. So in terms of ability, the mastercam goes first because you can tweak every kind of settings. But again, it is not useful in wood CNC machining because this part is going to be done with one single G code, surface projection mostly, and the second one is going to powermill. Like, yeah, the program is powerful enough to handle these kind of G codes, and this the third one goes with visual CAD. There are some settings that needed to be able to change. For example, ramping a toolpath. This one doesn't have it. If you're planning to use ramp, for example, for the tool to slowly goes inside the material, you're not going to use this software because it can't afford it. For one of the most important parts is the post processor for a machine. Most of these CNC machines are working with ISO G code, which isn't a very big deal with post processor, but machine acceleration, stuff like that sometimes needed to be manipulated inside the post. So this number here isn't what you can do with the post processor. This number here is actually what a normal person can do with post processor. The number one goes with visual CAD cam because the post processor editing is happening only in menus, like you put your parameters in categorized menus and it is easy. But the post-processing power mill happens in Autodesk manufacturing post-processor utility, which is kind of an easy, but you can't go through all of it from menus, etc. You need to watch tutorials, you need to watch the help files to actually be able to manipulate the post processor of powermill. You don't need to watch any tutorial for the visual CAD CAM software. For mastercam, you need to be a freaking programmer to edit or tweak a post processor for your job, or you need to download the post processor from the websites, which if they don't for whatever reason give you the post processor, or if you don't have internet connection in your company and they don't let you to steal these very valuable models and they disconnect your internet, you cannot get this post processor if they lock the computer, which is mostly the same thing is happening. So for the one of the most important toolpath strategies is surface projection, and the number one goes for powermill. It is fast. It contains all of the needed parameters, including noise ramp. And the second one goes to the master. It has a lot of parameters to be tweaked, so it's not going to be fast. It's slow. It's not going to be like without bug, etc., etc. It is going to have bugs. It is going needed a lot of tweaking. It is not fast. It is slow. It is not. I don't remember if the ramp was there or not. And the for the visual CAD cam, unfortunately, if you're going to work with complex parts, as it doesn't work. It works, but it will ruin your surface quality in some areas. It will destroy your part. Also, you need to buy 5-axis license to be able to work with 4-axis machine. So it is a little bit of weird thing. Okay, the exact time calculation. It is very important. If you are going to work in a company that lets you to that's actually wanted this from you to create G code for these parts, not exactly these parts, there are parts that are off axis and hard to machine. You need to be able to calculate the exact machining time. I mean, like with 5 minutes tolerance. The Simco software is a large BS in terms of machining time calculation, since it doesn't consider per axis uh, feed rate and machine acceleration and deceleration, while the mastercam itself can calculate the machine acceleration if you just tweak the post processor. I mean, being able to post processor, where was that? Okay, being able to uh, edit and tweak the post processor, since you're not a programmer, so you cannot get the exact time, because you need to have the feed rate in every single line of your code, so that the software can calculate the exact machining time. But for the powermill and visual CAD cam, the time that is being calculated is inaccurate. And if you tell the time that these three, like Simco software and powermill and visual CAD, if you tell this time for machining, they'll laugh at you, and you will consider as a beginner in machining. If you want to 100% accurately estimate the machining time, because the money goes for the time by these machines, you need to use and buy the VeriCAD software. I will create a full video especially for these type of machines to exact the accurate exact machining time. And finally, if you want to ruin your career, go with mastercam. so you will ruin your career. And visual CAD cam too, since you will face a bug at the surface projection, and I will show the bug later on. And you will, and if you want to go rich, go with powermill and VeriCAD. You need these two softwares together for in order to calculate the exact time. Also, for VeriCAD, they have uh, advertised for the software that this software can actually do a lot of stuff. The other stuff is not useful in this industry. The only thing this is useful is the time. Also, there is one ability that PowerMill have that none of these other softwares have, and which is useful in this industry, because there are sometimes that the shopkeepers, I mean CNC shop owners, will throw away an engineer, a designer, etc., and they will keep their G codes and they think that they are good with G codes. But at the moment that they want to change the design or change the G code steps or etc., they will need the design again. So they will end up with a useless G code in their hands. So, or one of the best options in PowerMail with a pre-made macro in their in AutoCAD website is to G-code to STL option, which is not present in none of these other softwares, including Simco, because Simco is BS for this matter. Don't go for Simco software. Simco is a text editor, nothing else, because the resolution of the solid in Simco is BS. I don't know if it can export that solid or not, but the resolution is useless. PowerMill can convert G-code to a STL with a simple, uh, very simple macro from their website. These two other softwares can. So the PowerMill is the best choice considering whatever, even the price. So don't go with any other software. And for any of these, because I mean, I have a lot of experience. I don't want to sell it for money. If anyone wanted any tutorial about anything, about how to create G codes, about how to tweak the post in PowerMill, of course, uh, about how to create the surface projection, the fastest method in PowerMill, about uh, about estimating the exact time, about this one, I will create tutorials if people want, and that's it.